Howdy y'all, I've been sitting on this little computer radio thing for a while, and I'm finally gonna take a look at it. So what this thing is just a normal AM FM radio, but it kind of looks like a PC from the 90s. I'll try to find a date that this was made is being a little bit tough, but you can tell it's a little bit old by how yellow a lot of the plastic is. What's also funny about this though is apparently there was something under here. Oh, it said headphone jack, but they just put something over that says DC jack. Yeah, right there you can power it if you don't want to use batteries, but I guess it was supposed to originally include a headphone jack. So from what I understand, this thing is only supposed to be a radio. But I would like it to just be a speaker and I can just put in it whatever I want. So I'm gonna open this up, test it out, the AM FM radio stuff, but mostly what I wanna do is turn this thing into a speaker that I can use with an aux in. So let's give that a go. Let's finally unentomb the AM FM computer radio. Cool sounds. Let me free you from your plastic prison. So thankfully, even though the plastic here yellowed, it doesn't really look like it affected much of the actual unit itself. It looks like we have a little fun keyboard here, and just attach that in like that. Goes in there, and then we also have a little mouse. Oh, is it magnetic or is that just oh wait, no, I think there was like some kind of like glue or something that was keeping it on. And does this have a date on it? No date that I can find. So we got a telescoping antenna here, but then we also have like this kind of antenna. So I guess one's an AM antenna and the other's an FM antenna. Whatever adhesive it was using is really ate away at the plastic there. Oh, the switches are kind of fun though. This thing swivels a bit. So we got the volume control right there. And on the other side, we have the tuning. And then let me just remove this right now. And looks like it takes 3 AA batteries. Well, might as well test it normally before we go and absolutely ruin it. I don't really see an on button, so I'm kind of just assuming that once pressed down on one of these, it'll turn it on. Wait, nope, I just had to flip this. AM, FM. Me constantly switching stations to not get copyright struck. Well, we know it works, so it does function as a radio, but I want it to be more than just a radio, so might as well take it apart like a little bit. We've seen it function now, so if I break it, well, I'm preserved a little bit. Time to tear it apart. Now, I'm hoping that all these screws are the same size, but I kind of doubt they're going to be. It looks very similar, at least. Yeah, looking pretty good. Okay, yeah, it looks like these are all the same size, so that's good. Ooh, oh, that is a look for sure. That kind of looks gross on the inside. Well, in theory, I could just remove all of this. This is like the one for tuning. This is the volume. And then these here are for the battery. We should be able to build something. Go ahead and just start removing these things here. There we go. So this entire thing is the circuit board for this radio. Let's take off the antenna for right now and remove the back of this off. And now we should just be left. Ah, there it is. There's the speaker. So this is where the speaker goes. We can see the antenna here. That's a brown wire. The green wires seem to go to the actual speaker itself. And these ones here correspond with the AM, FM light, FM yellow, AM red, and ground is the black one. Quickly document what all of these wires go to on this. So we have a general idea of where things go when I start pulling and yanking. I'm thinking we're going to completely retrofit the internals of this. So let's go ahead and just start pulling some wires. That should be all I need to remove the speaker. This one here is for the FM antenna. Might just leave that in there, but it looks like if I really wanted to get rid of this, I would have to desolder in the inside there. We'll just leave that. I think I can just unscrew that with some pliers. Yeah, perfect. That thread comes off. I should be able to, yep, push this through. That's removed. Okay, now we have the shell. And then just gonna disconnect this battery stuff. And while I'm at it, let's also remove the mouse because I would like to put that back in and use that later. From what I understand, I think this yellow one is gonna be the ground. Well, I'm not gonna need this for much longer. Now we have all the extra components. Well, now that we have this, might as well find a donor speaker that we could use. So I have located what is going to be the donor speaker for this. So this is an origami speaker I picked up. Doesn't really turn all too well. A little weird. I picked it up for $10. And technically this thing is more powerful than this. So there is a possibility that we could blow out the speaker cone here because this is rated for 0.5 watts and this thing is rated for 3. But since this is a stereo speaker and this is a mono speaker, it could maybe be that these are rated for 1.5 each. I'm not sure. It's still over the 0.5 watts that this is in. So we'll just have to be a little careful, I think. You know, this is kind of why I do the thing, so if I end up breaking it, you learn. This one's actually battery powered as well, but instead of taking AA's, it takes AAA's. So I can get them out. There we go. But considering that, you know, AAA's and AA's are pretty much exactly the same in terms of voltage. So if I have 3 of these, it'll be 4.5 volts. Only kind of difference is just like their size and capacity. But effectively, this should work all the same. But before I completely take this thing apart, might as well show it off a little bit, I guess. We just need a subject real quick. This cassette should do the trick. And the volume's completely controlled by the actual device itself. There's no volume control on the speaker. Now that we have an idea of what this sounds like, let's take it apart. Should probably power it off first. Cool. Simple. Oh, that's funny. We got black and blue here, and we got red and white here. So I guess they're trying to determine which one goes where. Ooh, interesting. Kind of hard to see, but right there, it's actually just a connector that goes in there. So we should just be able to unplug that. Let's see here. These are soldered on there, but the board itself is very small. This is all we need. So what I'm thinking is we reuse this connector. We'll just probably cut a couple of these things right here and right there, reuse that. And so we can just easily slide that in and not have to worry about where the pins are gonna go. And you just need to figure out where in here this needs to be. So let's actually donate the cable that this thing came with. It'll just permanently be in there. And I imagine we'll probably wire this in a way that I can go through. Yeah, like that. Perfect. Yeah, it'll just have a little cable coming out. Now we just gotta find a way to wire the power switch. Let me get the multimeter and we're gonna figure out which state's on and which state is off. Whenever this is ticked to the right here, if it's oriented this way, it'll be on, and when it's this way, it's off. Continuity mode. So with it on, let's see. It should just be I touch these two pins. Yep. So this switch actually has a secret third pin that's over here, but because it isn't hooked up to anything, we won't need it. So if it's flipped over here, these two connect. If it's flipped over here, these two connect. So the next goal would be to figure out what I should do about the power for that. I just need to solder some wires onto there and make a switch. We can leave this in the off state and have the switch that is like further out be the one that actually activates it. And if I recall, I think the mouse is a locking switch. So once again, multimeter time. So let's say that the AM is on and FM is off. Try yellow. Yellow and white is FM. Yellow and green is AM. So I think yellow might be ground. So if I want this to be the switch, the yellow and the green wire. Now I just gotta wire up the battery terminals in the speaker. And now, lastly, we will feed these wires through here and wire them to the speaker. I think we're done. I'm gonna keep these wires in case I ever wanna do something with the LEDs in the front, but for now, I'm just gonna wrap them up. Now let's start putting this thing back together. Yeah, come on. Looking pretty decent. Let's throw in some batteries and see how it plays. So now we just have two cables coming out of it. We got the mouse, it's the power switch, and then we got the aux cable. We can pretend the aux cable is like a power supply or something. First test, here goes nothing. It works! And the mouse works too as the on-off switch. Now, it's not going to sound as good as like these speakers. These speakers packed a lot more bass. I mean, I could always like, you know, swap those out and replace it if I wanted to, but we're going to keep the stock speaker that's in this. You can see the light that's down there too. And can I put the keyboard back in there too? Oh, there we go. Okay, got it. Well, this was actually a success. Now I got my own little speaker that looks just like a little tiny PC. And it was a successful super e-waste build. I built this using only parts from existing things. Nothing new's in this. Well, except for batteries. I mean, batteries are batteries. And well, I guess I can keep the parts for the old stuff too, including these speakers if I ever want to use them in something else. But I'm gonna say this is a resounding success. So that's gonna be it for now. So long, y'all.